Report, addressing the erosion of the socialist laborers' grand bargain and the silence of the progressive left executive summary. This report scrutinizes a critical, yet increasingly overlooked issue within the realm of labor rights in the United States, the gradual erosion of the socialist laborers' grand bargain, particularly through the incremental dismantling of state workers' compensation systems. Despite the profound implications for workers nationwide, there appears to be a conspicuous silence on this matter among many within the liberal progressive left, socialist groups, and labor unions. This silence is particularly notable concerning the push for basic federal standards and protections for workers' compensation, an area where federal intervention could significantly enhance the rights and safety of workers across the country. Introduction. The socialist laborers' grand bargain, established over a century ago, represents a foundational compact between workers and employers. This agreement ensures that workers relinquishing their right to sue employers for workplace injuries receive guaranteed, no-fault compensation. This system is pivotal in providing financial and medical support to workers injured on the job. However, state-by-state erosion of these protections, coupled with a focus on less comprehensive solutions like increased OSHA funding and additional inspectors, signals a retreat from fighting for more systemic, federal-level reforms. The erosion of protections. Across the United States, workers' compensation systems face significant challenges. Benefits have been systematically reduced, eligibility restrictions tightened, and the overall safety net for injured workers weakened. This erosion not only undermines the original intent of the workers' compensation system but also places an increasing burden on public assistance programs, essentially shifting the cost from employers to taxpayers. The silence of the progressive left. Despite these alarming trends, the response from the progressive left, including socialist groups and labor unions, has been muted, particularly regarding advocacy for national standards or a national work comp commission. While efforts to increase OSHA funding and inspectors are valuable, they do not address the root issues affecting the workers' compensation system or the broader implications for labor rights and protections. The need for basic federal human rights in workers' compensation. The case for establishing basic federal standards for workers' compensation is strong. Such standards would ensure a baseline of protection for all workers, regardless of their state of employment, and counteract the race to the bottom seen in some states' efforts to attract business by minimizing worker protections. The absence of a concerted push for these reforms from within the ranks of the progressive left raises questions about the movement's priorities and its commitment to labor rights. Conclusion and call to action. This report calls on the liberal progressive left, socialist groups, and labor unions to reinvigorate their commitment to labor rights by placing the issue of workers' compensation reform and the establishment of federal standards at the forefront of their agenda. It is imperative that these groups mobilize their resources, influence, and constituency to advocate for the protection and expansion of the socialist laborers' grand bargain. Only through a unified and focused effort can the tide be turned against the erosion of workers' rights, ensuring that all workers receive the protections and support they deserve. Recommendations. Advocacy for federal standards. Launch a coordinated campaign to advocate for the establishment of basic federal standards for workers' compensation. Public awareness campaigns. Utilize media and social platforms to raise awareness about the erosion of workers' compensation protections and the need for federal intervention. Legislative action. Work with sympathetic lawmakers to draft and introduce legislation aimed at establishing a national work comp commission and federal standards for workers' compensation. Solidarity and coalition building. Forge alliances with other labor rights groups, social justice organizations, and progressive parties to strengthen the push for comprehensive workers' compensation reform. By confronting the silence and mobilizing for change, the progressive left can reaffirm its commitment to the fundamental principles of labor rights and social justice.